You're in the right place. It's cigar time, where it's always time for a fine cigar.
Is he going to do that the whole time?
I can't.
You're going to change the beginning every time?
Hey, if you keep
like
doing
the
the same old, it gets stale.
Just checking.
It gets stale.
Welcome to Cigar Time.
There you go.
Somebody
No, they've already been here for a
lobbying
year
for your
already.
job.
Well, he's dead. He just died.
He's trying to take my
Yeah.
job.
Well, he was like 98 years
Scott wants
old.
to host the show.
Yeah.
No.
You want to host? Oh, you want to change chair right
Did it
now?
once, so it's enough. It's Rob's
Man.
turn.
No,
Oh, it's Rob's turn.
not me.
Well, you probably see a gentleman on the assembled masses here that you may or may not recognize, but he's going to inaugurate our new segment that we're going to be on a semi-recurring, sometimes non-recurring, but one
It's
of
a
those.
semi whenever we
It's
feel
got
like
a curring
doing
in it somewhere. We're going to have famous personalities who just happen to be big-time cigar smokers. And I want everybody to say hello to Don Johnson. No, not that Don Johnson, but the Don Johnson that in the last few years has been able to amass winnings of over $15 million from a number of casinos in both Atlantic City and Las Vegas. Now, more about that in just a few minutes.
Hello, Don.
Hi, yeah.
Hi, Don.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Welcome, Don.
My pleasure.
Another segment that we're going to devote a lot of time to today, and Don will be participating in, is an actual blind taste test, and totally blind. Not,
We're going to close our eyes.
We're going to close our eyes and smell them,
You
yeah?
don't have to close your eyes, but we're all going to smoke cigars that Uncle Max has selected. The envelope tells us what's inside our smoking cigar. We're not going to open the envelopes till at some point towards the end of the smoking, whatever that occurs, which makes me think of this. We have a lot of sponsors.
We do.
We do, and more coming in every week. Now, we do not take cigars from the companies that we review their cigars on. Now, today we're not going to particularly review any cigar because we're going to have our test and we're going to talk to Mr. Johnson. But the cigars are all picked. Either Rob or Uncle Max picks the cigars from our large humidor in Horsham. So there's no, as we've said in the past many times, there's no buying a review. All our reviews are independent, they're subjective. Some people will like some things,
Stupid
others
people
will
don't
not.
What are you looking at me for?
I don't know. I think there was a little indication that Rob was bought off last week
It is possible. It is possible.
with the Elite Master. Come on.
Well, let's not
couple
keep
weeks ago.
let's
It
not
was
keep
last
beating a dead horse deader.
Yeah, last week was the
2 weeks?
Kentucky
That's right.
Fire Cure.
Yeah.
At any rate,
No, it was last week.
weeks ago.
just
Oh,
to
I
reiterate,
Last week.
our views are totally our own views. Yes, they are subjective, and much like fine wine, you know, some people will like Muscatel, others will like, Chateau Margaux. So I mean,
Both are good.
Yeah, both are good in their own way. I kind of like
So
mine
our
like a real
opinions do
bottle.
not necessarily reflect the opinions of the management.
Or Rob,
Or Rob.
Or me, that's right.
or sometimes
Is he
Tia.
back? What?
You also want to remind everybody, we certainly appreciate your business, and our stores try to bend over backwards to accommodate everybody. We try to have the selection you want at the prices you want it at, and we're ever expanding. So thank you for that business. But again, I want to remind everybody, since we don't have stores on every street corner, please support your local brick and mortar store, especially now that, the nights are getting cooler. You want a place to smoke at night or even during the day or the weekend. Your local merchant will have a lounge like we have lounges in our stores. Please support them. And we thank you for also supporting us. Now, what we're going to have the lovely Miss T serve our cigars in our envelopes.
Okay.
She's going to get up.
Do I get to pick last or first?
You can pick any way
Pick
you
whatever
want.
you want.
You can pick
It's
in
a
the middle.
blind taste test.
Okay.
And then we're going to have a little talk with Mr. Johnson.
Go that way. I want to pick last.
I can't go that way because then that booty's gonna be in front
I don't even want to. I don't
Okay.
want to
Cigars are
know.
all flying off of there.
I don't want to know.
You know what's that one?
This could take the whole show.
Yeah, exactly right.
There.
All right,
Feel
let's
free to
go
run the
back.
test pattern.
So which letter did you pick, Tia?
A.
Of course.
I will pick.
A for the grade I hope I get.
I will pick
Oh,
D. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, T.
You're welcome.
Connecticut home round.
I am going to take
Pick a layup.
E
Throw a softball, Ron.
or 3.
Yeah, thought it was a 3.
Just hand me one.
A, B, C,
Yes.
D, 3.
3. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the envelope.
We can't
F.
open these yet?
F.
Oh, I
You got
know.
an
Not yet,
F.
at the end.
Well, I don't have a lot of options left. I'm going to go with B.
They leave you the big one.
I get B.
Leave it alone.
While she's doing that, I just want to let you know we are cutting and lighting our cigars with our CIGAR cutters and lighters. The Illume lighter that we got from CIGAR, one of our sponsors.
I'm not cutting mine with my Zycar cutter.
You're cutting yours with your
He's
teeth?
cutting
I'm
it.
cutting mine
He's
with
cutting it with his
al dente.
dentures.
Al dente.
Al dente.
His major cutter.
Yes.
This looks like something
A
Moyle
Moyle
might
tool.
use.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty sure it is.
Don, does anyone ever tell you you sound like Mandy Patinkin?
Oh, he's
From
great.
Homeland?
I know him from Broadway.
Well,
He's a great
yeah,
singer.
He's a great singer too, but he's got a distinctive voice. And
He
you
does sound
a
like.
lot
Yes,
like
you
him.
are correct. I just saw him
was
down in
in the,
Sarasota a
Montoya.
few seasons ago.
He was in Ego Montoya.
I haven't heard that.
Actually, you do. Wow, that's a good observation there, Paul.
Gee, thanks.
You're welcome.
See, I don't only listen to myself. I listen to everybody else too.
Say my name is Neo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Oh, Antonio Banderas.
No,
Wasn't he in that?
Mandy Patinkin.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie.
El espadachín más fina de todos de España. The greatest swordsman in all of Spain.
I just want to
I
remind
know.
everybody we're doing a TV show here about cigars.
Is that what we
Hi.
got?
I know you all thought the camera was off, but we're actually filming this.
What was the show? It was about a guy on a crusade trying to save a girl and
I know about it. I never heard of it. Or I never watched it.
The Princess Bride.
Princess
The
Bride.
movie, yeah.
Yeah.
They went through the swamp and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff. Yeah, it's a good show.
Very good movie.
With
I know
Andre the
this
Giant.
is.
Yeah, Andre the Giant.
Yes, I, do.
definitely did not see that.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do what?
I do.
What?
I know what this is.
Do you really?
I swear I do.
Before we talk to Don, does
Initial
everybody want to give a first impression of whatever cigar they're smoking?
Sure. I got.
Why don't we start with you, Scott?
No, start with you.
Start with Tia? Okay, I don't think she's fully lit
Oh, I'll
yet.
go then. Mine.
Really?
No, I'm
So
not,
far, it's
not
kind of
yet.
spicy. I didn't really care for the band much, but
Pretty good,
Really?
Scott.
That's
That was
very
pretty
funny.
good.
it's spicy, earthy, and a little bit of cocoa.
Paul?
It's early.
Well, this is, I picked it because it was on the dark side, but it's actually pretty mild. It's got a little bit of spice, not much intensity. It's also got like a tart, citrusy flavor to it.
What kind of wrapper is it?
Looks Ecuadorian to me.
Not yours.
Oh, mine?
Yeah, I know mine's Ecuadorian.
I would guess Honduran on this one.
Mine's Romanian.
Is it really?
Yeah, Romanian.
It's a
Romanian?
new strain of Romanian.
I heard about that.
I don't know what this is,
got
although I have a
benefit.
funny feeling I do know. All I can tell you, it's delicious. It's on the mild to medium side, a lot of cocoa taste to it, nice sweet finish. Little hint of pepper at the front of the tongue.
That has a,
Very good.
that has a Davidoff look about it.
You know something?
That looks like a
I
risotto
got a
wrapper.
sneaky feeling I know what it is.
Okay.
Don?
I'm not sure. I picked it because it's light. It has kind of a nutmeg flavor.
Mhm.
Cool.
Probably the wrapper comes from Connecticut, I'm guessing,
Or it's
Looks
Connecticut
like
shade,
Connecticut
yeah.
shade,
or
yeah.
Connecticut shade.
From Ecuador.
They grow that from Connecticut all the way down and to forever, as far south as you want to go.
Well,
But
it's
the
smooth.
real good tobacco does come from Connecticut.
It's smooth. I can't smoke the darker cigars. It's a bit too much. I like the mild and mellowness of this.
So you're not like some of our panel members who smoke 10 and 12 cigars a day?
Yeah, and I can't do with those.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Ah, what a lightweight.
I don't want to name any names, but they're to the right of me.
They? There's only one of us that smokes like that.
Oh, Scott?
Yeah. That's why his hair
That's
fell
right.
out.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I've been at it longer. Mine should
I
have
felt
fallen
this
out a long
morning because
time
of the
ago.
dick.
Well,
Rob?
I have news for you, Art.
This is
I knew I should have worn my hat.
smooth cigar, Connecticut shade wrapper. Tastes like a Dominican
You know
tobacco.
what it is, don't you?
I don't know what it is. I don't. I'm going to guess, but later. But
I hope you're wrong.
I know you do. You
Just in general,
you want to see me go
just
down
in
in
general
flames, don't you?
principle.
Oh, yeah.
You
Be
want to see me go
careful.
down in
They
flames.
will eat their young.
But it's very smooth, very mild.
I know you want me to succeed.
Very tasty.
Yeah.
Very tasty. I think
Come
I
on,
got the
Keith.
bell ringer.
What's the word?
Yeah, I think I know what this one is. I really do.
Well,
Well, don't say.
But
I'm not going to
describe,
say
just
what I think it
describe
is.
it.
I got a Toro size, spicy, peppery, earthy. I'm getting bitter chocolate. And it's definitely a Maduro, I'm going to say maybe even El Scordo wrapper. So.
It is pretty dope.
And I like the band. I think it's very,
Tea and her band.
It's
I
very
think it's very
basic.
educational. There you go.
It's very good. Very educational.
Well, we'll come back to these in a few minutes.
Did you approve which cigars he picked?
No, I
Okay,
know
so it could
nothing.
be- so it
I
could be
have no
expensive.
clue what any of these
Yeah,
are.
these
So it
could
could
be
be a
like $30
$12 cigar.
cigars.
I mean, John picked these out, and he put on his best Uncle Max routine, and he just picked them all out. And, you know, I'll break his hands if he picked out real expensive ones.
I think you got it real expensive.
I know I do. I can tell by the
think I
taste,
do
and I can
too.
tell by the look of the wrapper, even though I don't have my glasses on.
Kind of an ugly wrapper.
Well, Don, now it's your turn.
It's a little veiny.
Yes.
Like I said at the beginning of the show,
Mine still.
I don't know of anybody, and I'm sure none of you do
Very
either,
nice.
that have been, you know, over the years, very successful at playing the game of blackjack in both Atlantic City and Las Vegas and maybe other parts of the world.
I thought it was called 21.
Well, like, inside the casino, they usually refer to it as, you know, 21.
It's blackjack.
It's
I
black.
cracked
BJ.
myself up as
Yeah,
nobody
you
else.
Boxes
Yeah.
are marked BJ.
Good luck
Ship
with
1,
that.
2, 3. But
You want to play 21, you got to go to Europe.
Europe.
Over here, it's blackjack.
But I'll let Don, you know, let you in on whatever he wants to let you in on. If I were him, I'd keep it all to myself and not let anybody know the systems. But that's
Well, that
enough.
makes for great television.
That makes
Yeah.
for
If
great
you don't
television.
tell anything about
Don't tell.
anything.
Yeah. So now we'll move on to our next segment. Don, it's been nice having you. Thank you. Now, you say it. You're the man. You're the one to beat him.
Well, you know, at this point, there's no secrets to it. It isn't just card counting. It's a number of different techniques, but most of the job at beating them was done walking in. It's negotiating the right deal. It's getting the right house edge down to as close to even as possible. Negotiating discounts on the back end.
Explain.
How does
most
that
people.
work?
Yeah, most people. I know. I understand
Look
what
at
that
Paul,
means.
he's
but
like, yeah, I need to
I'm
know.
sure almost no one will know what getting a walk-in discount means,
Well,
or day money.
Yeah, remember, I thought it was called 21. So.
yeah, I mean, no,
Yeah,
you
you
want to get as
certainly don't
much
know.
as you can walking in the door. That means if you can get free play, in the Tropicana's circumstance, they were offering 50,000 walking in free play, so you're ahead of them walking in the door. If tragedy does strike at 500,000, you get a 20% discount, so you're only
400
walking,
grand.
walking out a 400 grand loser. But
Oh, that's it.
Only.
but well, actually, you
relief.
took a risk at 350 because you got 50,000
50,
walking
yeah.
in, so you got even better than a 20% discount. And you come back the next week or the next day or whatever time period that they put on you, and you come back and you take another shot at them. If the game is close to break even, meaning a coin toss, and you're getting a discount on top, when you lose, you don't have to pay them even money. You're getting a discount on it. When they lose, they got to pay you 100% of what you beat them out of.
Yeah, the interesting thing is kind of akin to the various times when the rules actually forget basic strategy or counting or anything like a blackjack. I mean, when you get a natural, that 3 for 2 as opposed to, one, they can only get one out of you. So when they pay you 3 for 2, that's one,
and there are
they're
some
doubling down.
and there are some houses that have moved away from the 3 to 2 pay on blackjack
Really?
and more to a 6 to 5.
Oh, wow.
Which is a huge difference
Oh,
in payoffs,
Yeah.
and it moves that house edge further away from the break even and more in favor of the casino side. Yeah, I think most houses plan on a player probably making a certain number of mistakes, so they factor that into the into the house edge. Their edge on the average player is probably about 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, on up to 1.5%. On a player like myself or others that might really study the game, they're going to earn no more than 0.25, 0.3 on a worst case scenario. And if you can implement some minor changes to your style of play, then you could get that to break even, add the discount in, and now you're ahead of the house.
Head of the house. You know.
Coming from a business like ours, where I guess I'm hearing what you're saying is almost what their margin is, comparably to what ours is for what we pay for something versus what we sell it for. I'm guessing they must completely depend on volume because they're not making much money for. I mean, they're getting how much per dollar?
And volume.
Blackjack and baccarat are the least edge games in the house. I mean, but most casinos live off, the slot machine, the wheel. Even the VIG in American casinos with the 00 and in roulette gives them huge advantages. And even craps. Most people don't know how to shoot craps or know how to figure the odds, because if you roll a 7 and you roll 1,000 more, the odds on the thousands are no different than the first one.
Right.
Because dice have no memory. But blackjack and baccarat are the only games in the house, and actually, correct me if I'm wrong, blackjack is the only game in the house where the player actually has an edge from time to time.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on the sequence or number of cards that come out in the beginning, there's only a finite distance of propositions left in the unseen cards.
Right.
So those combinations vary depending on what came out ahead of it. And if you study what comes out early, you have a finite range of combinations that could come out later. You could develop an edge in any particular shoe.
Right.
Okay.
So it's understanding the cards, but it's also what you do up front, where you're in effect changing the rules because of the negotiated deals.
The negotiation walking in is just as important as understanding the cards.
Okay.
But at the level he played, very few people get that edge. Very few people walk in the door and have, what I used to call day money. You call, what did you call it, 50,000?
Walk-in money.
Walk-in money. I like yours better. Walk-in money and then a discount.
I like the walk-out money.
Yeah, well,
What kind of game do you play?
Just blackjack.
I mean, what table do you sit at, or do you sit at? Like when you just walk in, do you play tournaments mostly, or?
No, I don't play
tournament-
tournaments.
no,
I have
sucks.
played tournaments, but they're just for charity events.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay,
host
so
them.
what kind of table do you sit down at? You obviously don't sit down at a $5 table.
No. You
Okay.
you
Where
wouldn't
do
sit
you-
on the main floor.
no, he's an
You're-
arranged player.
You're going to sit in a negotiated area. Look, if they told me the best game was under an umbrella on the beach, I'd be out there.
Okay.
But the best games are going to be in the high limit pit.
Okay.
You're playing with the pink, yellow, and white checks as opposed to the red, green, and black ones.
Easter egg.
Easter, I got it. Yeah, I've seen those.
Does your strategy change as the more cards go out in a particular shoe? Like at the beginning, are you real conservative because you don't have a good idea what cards are there, and then you have more of a fine-tuned strategy the more cards that are dealt?
Well, that's the thing that frightens the casinos.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, there are a few things. It could change. Your strategy could change, or you could come off the top with big bets initially, depending on what happened the previous shoe before the shuffle.
So you believe, let me see if I understand this. Most casinos now are using, 6 decks or 8 decks?
6 decks.
6 decks, all right. I think that's still mostly
6
Vegas.
decks in a shoe. Vegas has a handheld.
Yeah, a couple
The
places.
2 deck,
They
double deck.
guard that judiciously, I suppose.
Pretty cautious.
So when they, what I call the cleanup, when they clean up the cards, they wash the cards, and they put them back in the shoe, are you saying that you have some understanding of how they've been repacked and put back in, or am I just...
Well, if they're washing them, that's a table wash.
The new cards.
That's new cards. That randomizes.
Or
it.
just a reshuffle.
I'm talking about in between and a reshuffle, depending on how thorough the reshuffle is. And you got to remember, when you're looking at a casino floor, just like a good casino manager looks at his floor, it's no different than Wall Street. It's a trading floor. No different than we look at the horse pools, trading and horse racing. It's a trading floor with an expected house advantage within a certain margin of error.
Right.
The margin of error meaning adjustment to overperforming and underperforming to a mean. When they look at it, all of these games have an expected return to the house over a large sample size of transactions. If a table consistently is underperforming, then they need to look at it.
Yeah,
Somebody's changed something.
Yeah.
Generally, what they're going to find out, and this happens, one major flaw in operating a live casino are your table games, because they're dealt by human beings. Human beings will make
Yeah,
mistakes.
we've seen that.
The
Right.
more mistakes a human being makes on a game and you don't have that many players they're going to let come in and bet 100,000 a hand. You know, you want your best dealers on there, but sometimes you can't always put, you know, depending on the shift that the player comes in, the dealers, that particular pocket of dealers might not be available, and they're going to be nervous anyway. You know, I was accused I was giving a lecture in Las Vegas, and one of the surveillance, it was a surveillance and regulatory conference. And after I was done, one of the questions, he says, so you make it a point to try to intimidate dealers? No, I don't make it a point to intimidate anybody. I didn't do that. The house did that. They're already intimidated because you've raised the stakes so high that, I mean, in some hands, I had an $800,000 hand. I'm pushing 4 or 5 times the value of their home across the table.
Yeah.
Or 10 years of their income.
Yeah, they're already intimidated.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. The house did that by raising the stakes too high relative to the number of players and the available staff or human resource talent they have to actually execute the game. They're going to make mistakes.
Right.
Did you know you were going to win as much as you did within the short period that you wanted?
No. You have no way of knowing
Yeah.
up front.
But you would say when the shoe has an overabundance of 10s and aces in it, that's a good thing for the player.
Well, there's a higher probability that the player should win during
Right.
a large extended period of time, but those those numbers were a basic strategy card or perfect strategy
Right.
are based on 400 million hands.
Yeah, which the average player is
Yeah,
not.
and even as much as I've played, I'm
You're
not
nowhere near
I'm not
that.
going to see 400 million
Not
hands.
in this lifetime.
Yeah, so you're gonna have a standard, a mean, and then you're gonna have a deviation. I would say during the period of time I won the 6 million, that 12, 13 hours, definitely I overperformed on top of whatever was happening during the playing of the game.
So $500,000 an hour.
I take it
Boy,
when
that's good pay.
you were playing, you were either in the private lounge.
Was in high limit.
Yeah, you weren't sitting out amongst the regular players.
Did you sit with by yourself, or do you have other people playing at the same table?
There were some other people that were playing at the table, all of whom I knew or were friends from the area.
Now, were they playing the kind of limits you were playing?
No, nowhere's close. They were just
5 and 10,000?
no,
Not even that much.
no,
Okay.
a couple hundred.
Oh, me.
Couple of bucks. Me.
Hey, in the old days, if your average bet was $300 over a 4-hour period,
Yeah, you were a superstar.
you were a whale. Back, I'm talking 40 years ago. You were too. They'd fly you out first class. They'd give you a flock wallpaper suite with an in-ground pool, and I mean, that's all changed now. But that was back in the day.
Now they send you a private jet.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that too. I never saw that, but I've seen people. Yeah, I had an airline in Atlantic City, and I saw it from the inside out. I saw how the casinos, look at things and guard the bankroll, so to speak. Well, Don, that certainly has been
Amazing.
Very
fascinating. I mean,
Fascinating and
yeah, I
amazing.
mean, none of us know anybody that's come even close to that in beating the casinos. I mean,
Because the expectation is, and the math lends itself in favor of the casino.
of course.
Some things have to be negotiated and changed in order to have that type of a long-term effect.
Yeah, they can't build those palaces based on winners.
No.
Even an occasional loser or two.
Yeah.
Now, a key question, I'm sure you've been asked a lot, when it wasn't going so good, what were your max losses at any given time?
I could lose $1 million in a trip easily.
Ouch.
And you get your discount, so you're down to 800,000. You suck it up and come back another day.
Now, when you were flying home after losing the 800,000, regardless of how much you've made on previous trips or anything, what was your mindset? I think that's an important thing to understand, the mindset of a true gambler.
You have to have the capability to regroup, take a time out, let your mind clear.
Right.
You can't be thinking about your next trip. You can't be thinking about the loss that you just suffered. You have to be able you stop, regroup, revisit a lot of the basic principles that
Right.
you negotiated and the math behind it, and say, okay, There's nothing wrong here. Make sure there's no flaw in
Right,
your style of play. I mean, if there was,
So
and
you
need
did
to-
replay
Oh,
in
yes.
your mind. Yeah, I used to do that myself.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
You have to
always do
You have to
that.
revisit. Okay, did something happen here? Did they make an adjustment to me?
Yeah.
And if they made an adjustment to me, then I need to make an adjustment to them.
Now, when you play against the shoe, you know, do you ever notice them moving the cut card?
Yes.
Yeah, that's I used
Yeah,
to,
they'll-
that's-
yeah,
I used
well,
to experience it.
yeah.
Or giving you in a handheld game in the old days, you know, less and less penetration. That's
Yeah,
how they
look,
that's how they protect the back
A
row.
lot of the double deck games. I mean, look, you're lucky if you get 3-4 hands,
Exactly,
and then they're
yeah,
shuffling
yeah,
again.
yeah.
So.
Well, it's amazing how I can relate to you on a much smaller scale.
I can't believe how much time we have left.
Oh yeah, I know.
We're out.
So, all right.
We're gonna have to reveal our cigars next week.
No, we're gonna reveal them right now. We're gonna reveal. We're gonna first of all.
first-
We gotta guess what we're smoking.
Yeah, we're
Go
gonna
ahead.
kind of move it
How you
quickly.
gonna go this
Okay.
side?
I think mine's I think it's an Ecuadorian wrapper. I think it's got Honduran and Dominican filler. I think it's a Julius Caesar.
Really?
Yeah, well, open it up
too
quickly.
light.
Because we're out of time.
We're
Did not
running out
get
of
a
time.
Julius
You can
Caesar.
go next while I'm
All right,
open.
you talk.
All right, well, good flavor, not a ton of it, nice spice, a little creamy. I think it's some kind of punch or Hoya.
Okay.
Not a Julius Caesar?
Yeah.
I don't care what's in mine. It's delicious,
Avo number 2?
and I think it's a Davidoff
Really?
Millennium.
Yeah, it's too
Wow.
light to be a Julius Caesar.
No, it's not.
I think this is a Davidoff Millennium. I'm probably wrong, but
I think you got it wrong. That's way. Look how dark that. That's way too
Or
dark for an Avo
Lajero,
number 2.
not a
Maybe
double
I got a
Lajero.
Julius.
Oh, I'll be damned. I don't even like this cigar.
I think mine's a Rocky Patel 99.
Yours is a Sublime.
90. I think mine's a Rocky Patel 99.
No, it's not.
It's unfair to let Don
I'm
get
really
because.
surprised.
I think mine's an
Considering what I've
Ashton
been
or a
saying to
Fuente
you.
family cigar.
Okay, that's
get
good.
it?
Let's see.
No, I did not think it was that full.
Excalibur.
Excalibur.
number
Oh wow,
That's yours,
Wow.
right?
that's the antithesis of
That's
that.
close.
All right.
You see how subjective it is, really?
Lajero, not a double
If
Lajero.
you don't know what the cigar is when you smoke it, it's so
Yours is
hard.
Sublime, I think.
This is
Mine
almost
is not a
impossible.
Sailing,
Sublime.
Connecticut.
Yeah, well, I got something that was close to what I thought it was.
I had no
What?
idea. This looked
Floor.
La Flor. I got a La
this
Flor 250.
looked like. I know this is Nicaraguan tobacco. I know this for a fact.
Okay.
So what is it?
It looked like an Eduardo at first, but then with all the names you guys calling out, I knew he didn't use one of those. So I'm gonna go with a Maduro,
Oh, that was.
and I'm gonna go with Alec Bradley,
Oh, okay.
Which one? Which
Black-
Alec Bradley?
Black Market or?
Mika Puro,
All right.
No, I don't think
it's
so.
not dark enough.
I don't think so.
Black Market.
Black Market.
Nice.
So Tia's the only one that got it right.
No, I didn't. I got it wrong.
She
Oh, I
thought
thought
it
you
was a
said-
Nika Puro.
I said
Oh, Nico Pure. Oh,
shit.
okay.
Well,
So basically,
The hell?
basically,
I'm a lot closer to the rest of
We'd
us.
have no idea what
We
we're
are all
talking about.
clueless.
we don't know what we're talking about. We
Because
we
the
like
Star
our
Wars
cigar.
show.
It's time to say goodbye quickly. Quickly, quickly.
I'm on Let's Do
we
Smoke
really
Cheap
have
Cigars.
Very nice.
Smoke often, smoke happy, and
No,
figure out what you're
no.
smoking.
Bye bye for now.
Ciao for now, everybody.
See you next week. Don, thank you very much.
Thank you for showing
Very
up.
Yeah,
welcome.
very
Thank
nice
you.
to have you. Thank
My
you.
pleasure. Thank you very
Great
much.
to meet you.